Today on Upfront, the state Supreme Court says Wisconsin's voter ID law is constitutional, but it still won't be in effect for the November election. So what's next for voter ID? Upfront asks Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and Minority Leader Peter Barca. Then, with the court upholding Act 10, will state Republicans try to expand the law to include police and firefighters? Plus, the House votes to sue President Obama. Wisconsin Republican Congressman Sean Duffy on why he thinks that's a good idea.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. We begin today with the fallout from last week's major decisions by the state Supreme Court. The court upheld Act 10, the controversial collective bargaining law. It ruled in favor of the state's domestic partnership registry, and it upheld Wisconsin's voter ID law. But that law remains on hold because of a federal judge's ruling last spring that found it unconstitutional. The decision is now being appealed. What that means is that voter ID will not be in effect for the August 12th primary, and it's highly unlikely to be in effect for the November 4th general election. So what happens next in Wisconsin's voter ID saga? We're asking Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos of Burlington and Democratic Minority Leader Peter Barca of Kenosha. Gentlemen, it's good to have you both back on the program.
Good morning.
I said that this will not be in effect in November, and yet Attorney General Van Hollen said on Thursday that he's going to do everything he can to see that the federal law is put on hold and that voter ID is in effect. Is there any chance of that happening?
I think it's a remote chance, but there's definitely a possibility. We now know that it's only a single liberal activist judge, Lynn Edelman, who has had the power to put the law on hold. The Supreme Court's found it constitutional at the U.S. level. We now know the Wisconsin Supreme Court, with a minor tweak, has found it constitutional in Wisconsin as well. So I hope it'll happen, but I'm certainly not predicting it will.
What do you think?
Very unlikely. I know certainly the Attorney General will do everything he can since it helps the Republican Party. But very unlikely. Obviously, Judge Lynn Edelman, who had strong bipartisan support when he was appointed. In fact, Governor Thompson, if I remember right, testified on his behalf. Very well-reasoned decision. I mean, a couple of very striking points that he could not find one single example of voter impersonation when this case came before him, and over 300,000 Wisconsinites would be disenfranchised. I mean, that's 3 times more than Robin's home community ever seen. I mean, it's an enormous number of people.
Speaker Vos, you said you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that voter ID is permanently the law in Wisconsin. What does that mean?
Well, first of all, we know that voter ID is the law in states all around the country. They have had no issues with it. I was just with the Speaker of Indiana, who was telling me that they have had voter ID for years and it has not caused any substantial problem. They still have a high voter turnout using voter ID. Barack Obama was able to win the state. Now we see that the opportunity for making sure we don't have voter fraud should go all across the country. So I think it's an issue that Democrats really use just to gin up their base. It's a made-up issue. We have seen no examples of voter disenfranchisement, especially with the tweaks that the Supreme Court's putting forward, where now anybody will be able to get an ID with no out-of-pocket costs. Very simple process that they can go to any DMV in any county around the state, get that ID, and guarantee that we don't have voter fraud.
Give you a chance to respond.
Well, look, there's no question. We've had prominent Republicans across the country say this is just part of a voter suppression effort. And we've seen in Wisconsin just a remarkable number of steps to try and make it harder for people to vote. I mean, whether it was issues such as curbing early voting, which they did last session, and then this session added to it, making it harder for senior citizens and residential facilities to vote. It's just outrageous. I mean, as Justice Shirley Abrahamson said in her decision, it resembles far more Jim Crow than it does James Madison, the framer of our Constitution.
Well, that's exactly one of the outrageous things, and it's all about hyperbole and exaggeration. Just as an example on the nursing home voting, all we did was to make sure that when people vote, there's somebody there to witness it, so you can't have one person collecting all kinds of votes for the candidate that they favor. I mean, those are the kind of things that are just common sense reforms. Shirley Abrahamson has been liberal since she was appointed to the bench, and this is just another example where she is using her own decision as opposed to the constitutionality of it, because the Supreme Court has been clear in saying it's constitutional, and now so has even swing Justice Crook saying the exact same thing.
The question, though, that you hear asked is, where is the evidence of voter impersonation fraud? Where is the evidence? Why do we need this if we don't have evidence that supports it?
Well, first of all, we don't have a law in place that even allows us to really track whether or not it's occurring. That's the frustration that many of us have. Almost every single person who walks up to vote has an ID in their back pocket or in their purse. They can bring it out, show the public, and it's not a problem. I think that we have no idea if fraud is occurring, and especially in a lot of elections where they're decided by tens or hundreds or a few hundred votes, wanting to make sure that that person wins without a doubt is something that's a very easy step to follow.
Let me turn that question around for you. I mean, you could see that public support for voter ID is pretty great. That anytime you do public polls on it, it's about 65, 70% of the people say, we want that. Why not do something that would at least have the public support in terms of confidence?
Well, and that's the interesting thing is why not do something that would have public support instead of this extreme measure that was put in place, which it makes it so much harder. In fact, even the Supreme Court, of course, had to curb what they did because we had a primary case of a woman who's been a town official for years up in Marathon County that didn't have a birth certificate. And they said, well, you can pay money and go to court. And she said, I'm not going to do that. I've always been able to vote every election. Everybody knows me there. It's ridiculous for me to have to go to court to prove that I need to vote. And again, Justice Edelman found there wasn't one single case, not one case, where you could point to voter impersonation. Obviously, if this were a problem that needed to spend all kinds of public resources the Republicans have put forward, then you would find some cases out there.
So let's remember, even Bill Clinton said that there are forms of voter ID where he certainly understands why the public has supported it. He had a different version of how to get it done, but the concept of requiring a photo ID should not be partisan, and only the most liberal Democrats or liberal activists don't want it to happen because I think they want to have the possibility for fraud.
Well, we mentioned cases like Michigan, and there are cases out there where you could do something perhaps. But obviously, in Wisconsin, as so often on so many issues, they take the most extreme versions. And that's why it was thrown out in federal court. I think almost certainly Judge Edelman's decision will be sustained in appeal. And, we'll find out as we go forward. But if this were a single instance, if this were the only thing the Republicans were trying to do, you'd say, well, maybe there's some validity. But when they curb early voting, so people who travel for a living can't vote the Monday before the election, when they make it harder for seniors that work their whole lives in residential facilities to make it harder for them to vote, you see a pattern there.
Let's remember, the Monday curb was actually at the request of the clerks because they wanted to make sure they were ready for the actual vote on Election Day. So a lot of the things that Peter is bringing up, once again, asked for by the officials, done in a way to protect the vote, and it's certainly not doing anything to disenfranchise people.
Let's take a break because I got a lot more I want to talk to you guys about. I want to talk about the collective bargaining ruling, but also want to talk about the outsourcing debate. Some interesting things Representative Barca had to say about that in the past week. We'll continue on Up Front in just a moment.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by American Transmission Company.